Welcome to Startup Hack. Today we are going to talk about preprocessor directives in C Sharp. So let's jump right in. Make sure to check out the link down below because we always provide the code samples that you can pull down and follow along so you can see in our project. Do you want to earn $100,000 a year? Do you want to become a software developer within just 3 months? With our amazing course and awesome tutors, you never have to worry about getting stuck. We help students to learn skills that companies want to hire. We are Startup Hack. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. So let's get started. Alright, what are preprocessor directives in C Sharp? Delving deeper into preprocessor directives in C Sharp, they provide us with special instructions that guide the compiler to carry out certain processes before the start of the actual program compilation. In a nutshell, they are like specific checkpoints or markers on a roadmap, aiding the compiler to make intelligent decisions about the path of code compilation depending on the various conditions specified by the developer. These directives are in part of the actual program code, which means they don't result in any kind of code rendition in the final compiled output. Instead, they shape the way the language or compiler or environment handles the source code. They are ignored by the compiler once their function is served, similar to the comments. Here's a simple example. In this example, the define directive sets a conditional symbol debug. Later in the code, the if directive checks whether the debug symbol has been defined. If yes, the code under the if debug block the compile. Otherwise, the code under the else block is compiled. It's amazing how preprocessor directive spur into action even before the compilation process initiates, influencing what parts of the code get compiled. With their help, we can maintain different versions of our code right within the same file. This is particularly useful for developing different releases of a product with varying features or testing out portions of code. Preprocessor directives can also be super handy when you want to exclude some code from the compilation process temporarily without deleting the code, kind of like a code pause button. So here's example. The testing symbol can be easily removed when it's time to compile the entire code again. Isn't that convenient and better than constantly deleting and restoring lines of code? Here's the basic example. Okay, now custom preprocessor in directives. You can also declare custom symbols using define directive and then use them in your condition compile statements. Check this out. Super cool, huh? Alright, understanding C Sharp preprocessor directive build configuration. The power of preprocessor directive transcends many aspects of C Sharp programming. One of the most significant ways we can leverage these directives is in build configuration, essentially controlling how our code compiles based on the set conditions. In simple terms, preprocessor directives allow us to create different versions of software from the same code base. This ability is truly vital in large projects where we might need to create specific versions of our software based on the client's need, platform, or other factors. Let's take a common and practical example that every C# developer may have stumbled across: the debug symbol. This directive is automatically defined by Visual Studio when we are compiling in debug mode and allows us to conditionally compile certain parts of our code. So here's example. In this code snippet, the console.writeLine statement will only be compiled and executed if the debug symbol is defined. If you switch to release mode, debug won't define, and therefore that line never gets into your executable. Besides this, we can also create custom build configurations and preprocessor directives. Let's say you have a specific group of methods or modules that should only be included when you are building a specialized version of your application. Just define a conditional compilation symbol, let's call it special, for that build configuration and use it in your code as follows. So here's the example. Both Visual Studio and .NET CLI provide utilities to manage these conditional compilation symbols in your build configurations. Now, the usefulness of C# debug preprocessor. The debug preprocessor directive in C# is built-in, identified, and allows you to call methods conditionally. So here's the example. C# preprocessor directive for conditional compiling. Conditional compilation is powerful. It's like having a secret handshake with your compiler. So here's example. With this, you can remove all that log and test code automatically when you release. Isn't it like magic? The power of C# if dev debug. Remember that fantastic debug analogy extended with if debug. Simply amazing, wouldn't you agree? Preprocessor directives in C# real world example. Do you use to do comments? Get them flag at compile time. So here's the example. Okay, now accessing environment variables using C# preprocessor directives. No more hard coding, access environmental variables directly in your preprocessor directive. So here's example. So thank you for watching this video. Mastering preprocessor directives in C# isn't just about writing better code. It's about understanding your code, being able to make it smarter, more efficient and adaptable. So don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon for latest updates. To joining our course, you can simply go to our website called startuphack.com. Thank you.